Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, Film Freaks.
Show for film, fun, and all things entertainment.
My name's Robert Monsivais.
I'm Avi Flores.
That was my line.
Oh, my bad.
I'm Jesse Galan.
And today, we're switching it up just a little bit. We're diving into some deep things with Avengers, and as these monumental kind of films and topics, in the world of entertainment come up, we just kind of want to sit and chat and give our thoughts and dive into it a little more. So that's what we're doing, so let's do this. Avengers Infinity War has finally gotten here, and rightfully so. It has this thing really kind of just blown up and changed the game. It's been 10 years of really building this universe, these characters that we have really kind of come to know and love and really latch onto, and some of them that are newer, like Spider-Man and Black Panther. But I think just because of the history that Marvel has created, it just, they kind of catch on real quick. And they delivered it, and here we are, Avengers Infinity War. So here we're just going to kind of really get more into the world that we've gotten thus far in Avengers Infinity War. So where do you guys want to start? How should we kind of... It started with Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Captain America. Those are the main four that we've gotten, and they started it off well. A lot of unknown properties, especially I can atone for that because I love Marvel, but more so because of X-Men. That's my first love. So I really didn't know much of Avengers.
I'm sorry.
How about you guys? Where were you guys with the whole Avengers initiative where they started building this thing? Were you guys in the same boat as me that this was all new?
Yeah, it was pretty new to me. As far as like superhero movies, but the first one I remember seeing was obviously Iron Man 1.
Right.
And then from there, it's all the other Iron Mans, and then they introduced Captain America. Right. The one thing I am hoping for is a standalone Hulk movie, which we haven't gotten yet.
That still rights issues with, thinking with Universal, and I don't think it's rights, I think it's distribution, but I think it's a little bit of both. But I don't know if we'll ever get that, because moving forward, if they are going to do the changing of the guard with these new Avengers, this might be the end of Hulk. I don't know. All right, Jake. What about you? I know you're the DC guy here, so...
Oh, you're going to throw me under the bus like that, huh? Yes, I am in DC, and no, they didn't have Batman in the movie, so I have to say the movie was straight garbage.
Right. Where were you at with
so for me, I did enjoy Iron Man, as
best one of the franchise.
The best one. The first one, definitely it is, but it wasn't until really Captain America, which is my favorite Marvel character.
Yeah.
It wasn't until his film came out where I really started to appreciate the Marvel universe. The first one wasn't the greatest, but definitely when the second movie came out, Winter Soldier just, to me, set the bar for the MCU, and I don't know, I really appreciate the different style that they brought to the table for the superhero films. So, Yeah,
I agree. The Captain America storyline has been my favorite. Of all the films, I really enjoyed Iron Man as well. The next two, not so much. And Thor is always kind of flew under the radar, because the first one was okay, the second one was and then Thor Ragnarok was just kind of a total change from the first two, but it was great. That movie was hilarious and an awesome adventure, and really is what led right into that's how the movie starts, with the ending of Thor Ragnarok, of Infinity War. So I've enjoyed all of them, all the auxiliary characters, the side characters, Black Widow and Hawkeye, Ant-Man, all these standalone movies that we've gotten, and the world building that they did to finally bring us to Avengers Infinity War, which I thought was fantastic. I really didn't... since I read Avengers Infinity War, it was like a 6-comic run. I own that, and I read that, so I've known about the storyline. But coming into it, just with what they've done, I really wasn't sure what they were going to do. So my expectations were high, but almost of like I don't know what to expect high, you know. So
Right.
it was kind of weird the way I was feeling, because I'm Marvel is they have a great track record, but it was.
I'd argue that one. I don't know. I mean,
okay.
If you want to talk about track record, how about the first Thor? It was garbage.
Right.
Straight. No, man. Relax.
So yeah, I mean it's been an awesome run, and I love how they're really not only bringing this first 3 phases to a close with the characters that we know, because it's about time. I mean these actors and these characters, you can only string them out for so long before you have to bring in something fresh, or we're just gonna get tired of them. I mean, like Wolverine, we had him for 17 years. You know, I don't think we'll probably ever see a person do that again, where they kind of run that long with the same character. You know, we're getting close with 10. You know, but we'll see where we go from here after the whole fade to dust. You know, where they're going from here, I'm not really sure. I've heard some people talk about that the pre-snap is the people that died. So we had Gamora, we had Vision, and we had Loki and Heimdall. Those are the 4 people that died before that, you know. So that's that kind of theory. I like it, but the only thing that to me that kind of is like, is the death of Gamora, because she's kind of a key in Guardians. So unless Nebula takes her place.
I mean, yeah, we should have said there's definitely going to be spoilers throughout this. But what I think with Gamora being a very special and particular case in comparison to the rest of the characters, because all the other characters were more of an auxiliary character, where Gamora is a more prominent role in Guardians. Okay. Right. Second, if you watch the movie and they talk about, which I'm still struggling with, I do like how the Thanos was given like a 3 dimensions, but I didn't like they were trying really hard to make you feel for the character. Right. Like there's nothing human about him. There's you don't make bad into good. Right. Keep bad and keep good. That was my issue. Sorry about the rant. Anyways, but my thing is his greatest treasure, right? He needed to sacrifice something. He sacrificed her. To what cost, right? And even then when he's on the sunrise or sitting down, he's watching the sunrise, he's kind of teary-eyed. At the same time, he feels accomplished, but in agony. Yeah, exactly. For me, I feel like there's going to be a point where he might even bring her back. Because that's kind of the direction that I feel Thanos... Yeah. They're doing with Thanos. Like he's not as the diabolical evil, the manifestation of evil that, you know, when reading the comic books I feel like he is. Right. You know, equivalent to Darkseid. But I feel like she will be the only exception, because you can't have Guardians without Gamora and Star-Lord together. Exactly. So I mean that's me personally. Right, and that's why I think that if they do go down that route, maybe because they saved Nebula, she didn't go to dust. You know, her Nebula and Stark were stuck on Titan. You know, so I'm like. Maybe she'll take her place, but I don't know. I'm not sure what they'll do with her specifically. So what about you?
Going back to the Gamora part, like if Thanos does bring her back, maybe that's one of the ways that they take him down. Because maybe if he brings her back, he's gonna have to give back the Soul Stone, or he's gonna be destroyed, because she brings her back. Maybe that's one way, that they take him down in the future Infinity War. That's
interesting, yeah. Because this whole Avengers 4 thing, I'm really. I don't know. I mean, they could go. I just don't know where they go from here, or what are they even going to call it? Because I know in the beginning I had said this before, that the Russo brothers had said that it's not going to be part 1 and 2, but now it definitely feels like it's going to be part 1 and 2.
I think that was kind of a way to a misdirection, because you can't say this is not a part 1 and part 2, and then literally ended Matrix style or Empire Strikes Back, because literally that's what I thought of when the ending happened. Will return, right, yeah. And then exactly. So to me, it is a part 1 and a part 2, but in a different sense. I feel like, and I'm still struggling to figure out what they're going to do with Ant-Man and Wasp, and then Captain Marvel is supposed to be taking place in the 90s, so it's essentially like a prequel or events took place before Thanos took over. But I don't know where Ant-Man and Wasp takes place. Right, me either. And then I think there's a third movie before Avengers.
No, it's just those 2.
Those 2 and then Avengers? Okay. Avengers, yeah. So then, all right, so if these movies take place beforehand, if you really think about it, like chronologically, timeline-wise, it would technically be taking place immediately after Avengers Infinity War. So I mean, I really do feel like that was a complete misdirection.
Yeah, and I've heard that Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place right in between Civil War and Infinity War. So maybe it'll happen like at the same time. Like what's going on there will be going on at what's going on over here in Ant-Man. Like they're just in a different place.
And then at the end of the movie, you see them going, what's
yeah,
going on?
That I would feel kind of like it'd be kind of a cheap way to end the movie because it's like you have their whole story, but then at the end they just evaporate into dust. So I'm like,
or at least one of them do.
Yeah, so I don't know. They could do it that way. I'm not sure. But then I feel like just looking at Nick Fury's pager, that's like an old school pager with all these like techno things on it. So I feel like that's a pager that he got from her in case they ever needed her.
Man, you can tell she's from the 90s.
Exactly.
I rocked the pager too. I remember.
So I think that whatever happens in Captain Marvel's movie is going to be her own story. And then maybe an end credit scene or right towards the end, she's going to get that page from Fury and know that she has to go to wherever they're going to help. Because you still have the main four, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. They're still alive. So maybe she shows up and they kind of create this plan. And then there's all other characters like Nova, who I think Thanos shows up with a Power Stone. They didn't show him go to the Nova Corps and destroy it. Star-Lord mentioned that, but they didn't show him actually go there and destroy it and get the Power Stone. So he just showed up with it. So I think Nova could come in as well. But Marvel's not one to just throw a character in there without establishing them. So maybe that would be too soon.
Hint, DC.
So maybe, but that is a possibility that he could show up and help in the fight because he's a cosmic character, very powerful himself. But then you also have like other characters that they've all hinted to, like Namor, and maybe even the Fantastic Four. That could kind of come in and help, but I don't know. It could be a sacrificial way that these four plus the help of Captain Marvel, that they finally defeat him and they sacrifice themselves somehow, and then all the newer characters kind of come back somewhere. Like I'm not really sure. It's so much to speculate because I would doubt that they would. Well, I know that they're not going to kill off Spider-Man when we already know that there's another Spider-Man movie coming. So, just the speculation of how they're going to do it is where I'm really kind of like, I don't know. What do you think, Robert?
Well, like you said, Spider-Man obviously he's going to have to come back, and that's another thing about Infinity War is that how are they? I'm thinking that the next Infinity War, the sequel, it's going to come out pretty soon.
Yeah, next year. It's already done.
Okay, yeah, because you have all these different Marvel characters that are dead. Spoiler, by the way. And so, how are they going to make their own standalone movies while they're dead? So, that's one thing I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah.
The next movie's going to come out pretty soon.
And I feel like the execution of that is what's going to because for Avengers Infinity War was Thanos. Like, how did they execute him was really going to ride on if this movie was good or not. And they did a well job of that. Now for this next one, how they execute this, cause I don't feel like we're gonna get as heavy of a Thanos character in the second part. I think it'll kind of go back to their normal formula, focusing on the heroes and not so much the villain, because they've already established him in this movie. So we'll get to see how they execute that plan. And if it's a good plan, then it'll be a good movie. But if it's kind of like, that's kind of cheap, or I don't really see that working, then I could see Avengers 4 kind of being
Empire Strikes Back, that's all I'm saying.
So I'm interested. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're going to execute that plan. We know that the Captain Marvel's a part of it.
For me, sorry to cut you off.
No,
my biggest issue right now is, again, it's my biggest issue, but it's also it's not like a bad thing. It's just I'm struggling with Thanos, and my thing that I'm afraid of is that they're gonna create such an emotional character that he's gonna sacrifice himself to bring back the universe.
That would be a scenario where that's not good.
Because you know what I'm saying? Because the soul, I'm not too familiar with the Infinity Stones and what all of their powers are capable of. Mm-hmm. But then the soul. Mm-hmm. Why emphasize so much on the soul? Why so much? Right, giving us Red Skull as death.
That was so cool, by the way.
And the biggest key factor to me, when I watch movies, words stick out to me a lot because in film there's always when you say something, there has to be a reward at the end. Mm-hmm. And one of the immediate, I don't want to say the immediate reward was Gamora's death, but he says when he was searching the soul, the Soul's Infinity Stone, that he became death and he directed people to the treasure that he can never obtain. Right. So some form of torture. For me, he sacrificed Gamora. Right. And then to obtain the soul,
he's eating him away. Yeah.
Right. So now what is there for him to lose? Right. Because he obtained it, but he lost Gamora, right? Supposedly the one thing he truly loved as a daughter. But then what else? How else is he going to suffer? Right?
Which is because they even teased that right when they showed her as a baby again.
Right.
Talking to him, you know.
So,
I hope they don't do that.
So that's my thing. Like, is he going to get defeated to the point?
by himself.
Right.
You know, like, I would hate to see that. Because I love that scene when they were on Titan and Spider-Man and they were going at it and they were
just
fighting him. Like, that was an awesome scene. And not that I necessarily have to see them take him down by force, but I would hate for it to be a like self-destruct kind of thing where he gives himself up or like he reverses it. Like, I'd rather see him kind of lose control and lose focus because she lost Gamora and how that's eating away at him. Like, I'd rather see him become the Mad Titan and just kind of go like Berserker, where he's not as focused and sticking to the plan that he had in Avengers, and he was very methodical and knowing what he had to do and do next, where he kind of has that Star-Lord moment where he just kind of loses it and is just trying to
right, but then how did you lose it when you supposedly lost everything? And that's my biggest issue. Like, to me, again, going back, Darkseid and Thanos are the two biggest tyrants, juggernauts of both franchises. Yeah. And then to see some human aspect, some hey, let's relate to this guy that potentially he could be doing the right thing.
Right.
I'm like, no, man, like, you keep him separate. I mean, this guy is absolute evil, absolute, you know, he should be absolute. And to bring that side, and it like sucks for me to argue this because I want a three-dimensional villain. Right. But at some point I felt like this is like the pinnacle point. This is the villain. There shouldn't have been some kind of remorse. Like, in fact, you should have been more than happy to kill her off. Right. So, like, I don't know. Like, and that's my struggle.
Maybe we'll get that in this next one, where now that, you know, he loses her, and that maybe he really goes down that path and becomes more, like, complete cutthroat, and then they really have to just battle it out with him, where they need someone like Captain Marvel. And so, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to speculate, but I really do hope that they I mean, and I have faith in them. Like, they've done very well so far. So I would hate to them just kind of do something like that where he just self-destructs and his emotion gets the better of him and he kind of gives it up. You know, that would really be like a sorry way for him to go out after building him up so well.
I agree, because I think it would be kind of contradictory if in the end you have this powerful villain in Thanos, and in the end he destroys himself, and that's how they win. Like, I think that was the whole point of this movie, was why you have all these crossover characters, and the only way they can beat them is that they all come together.
And they couldn't. I mean, it was
like they got close, but I mean,
I love seeing that. I love seeing how, and they started it off so well with him taking on the Hulk, and then the Hulk just not wanting any part of it, just the rest of the film.
It's a shame for this.
That's right. He's shameful.
I love that. And they just showed how he was. You know, like, these guys, they really didn't stand a chance. They got close on Titan, but I mean, wow, it was. And I like that. I like that they showed that part of him that they really didn't. Even at the end with. I mean, Thor got close, and I love that part where he just was like, he should have went for the head.
All right, talking about that, what are you guys' thoughts? Because Ragnarok, if I'm not mistaken, they showed a fake gauntlet, right? All right, so now we have the molding of the gauntlet that was made. Yeah. And then the real gauntlet Thanos had, right? So what are you guys' thoughts? Do you think there's a second gauntlet that's somewhere in the universe? Because why even bring that up as an Easter egg in Thor Ragnarok as a gauntlet being fake? But then, you know, when you hear that giant dwarf say that he made it specifically for him, so he molded and then loses his hand. Like, at what point was there a second gauntlet made, or was this gauntlet like already designed in the past? But from my understanding, watching this film, he was the one that created the gauntlet specifically to wield.
Because he did.
That's what he said, right?
What he said,
So then, I mean, maybe I'm looking way into this Easter egg, but I also feel like they tend not to just throw something in there just to throw it in there.
Right.
So that gauntlet was destroyed in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So you guys think after he destroyed, when he snapped his fingers and it broke, you think there's another gauntlet out there? Or
because that was one thing I thought of too, is once they showed him at the end just kind of chilling watching the sunrise, he didn't have the gauntlet anymore. So I'm like, well, where did it go? You know, where are the stones? What happened to it? So it could be that you know, where did Odin get it from? You know, he must have defeated somebody in order to get that. So somebody must have wielded them before. So I don't know if that'll play into it at all, as well as maybe Thor kind of knowing something, because he knew he needed that axe to defeat him, and he could have, but you know, he didn't go for the head. So I mean, that could play a part into it, where someone at some point wielded the gauntlet before with the Power Stones, and obviously Odin had to defeat them to get the gauntlet and hold it down there with the rest of the trophies that he had. So I don't know,
Thor, just as a recommendation, I highly suggest you watching BVS and seeing how Batman takes out the criminals, because he throws them into grenades and stuff. So maybe you should take note. Just saying.
Right. What do you think, Robert? You think that plays into it at all?
Well, I mean, probably, but you know how like a lot of movies, like they throw in little Easter eggs and, you know, to kind of give like a little foreshadow, like to what to expect from the future movies.
Right.
So maybe they're just doing that, and like, you know, maybe they're just saying like, hey, the villain, it's gonna be Thanos, you know, because they're showing the gauntlet.
Yeah, that could be it too. Right. You know, it could be something like that.
You know, I trust that the writers are, you know, they know what they're doing.
They did it for Suicide Squad.
I don't know if the Russo brothers are doing the next one.
I'm not sure,
because I know that they did Winter Soldier and Civil War, and then now they did this one. So I don't. Oh, they did. Yeah, I'm dumb, because they filmed it back to back. Yeah, so they did film it. They were in charge of that. So I mean, it's a full story, you know, because they did this, and now we're getting the continuation of it, even though it's not technically part 2, but it kind of is.
I mean, Matrix 2 and 3 is technically one long movie, but it's broken into 2 parts. Right. And it's not called Matrix 2, it's Matrix, 3 or whatever.
Okay, so just kind of wrapping it up, what would you guys like to see happen in Avengers 4? Like, how would you like to see them wrap it up, and what do you think are some speculations that might happen? What do you think, Robert?
Well, all I want, honestly, like, ever since I saw the Doctor Strange movie, like, that's been one of my favorite characters.
I forgot to bring that up too.
Because like I've been a fan of video games, MMOs, and stuff like that, and like in the Marvel universe, you have like this one wizard, like a mage, from video games I've played, and like I guess kind of connect with him, Like I'm really now. Ever since I saw that movie, I'm like, man, I love Doctor Strange. I just want him to come back and just
And I forgot to mention that, because when he did that whole thing of looking at the 14 million versions of how this could come out, and he gave him the stone, and then right before he fades away, he's like, "This was the only way."
Like they asked him, "How many did we win?"
Yeah, he said 1. So I think he actually knows what's gonna happen. And he might have, I don't know if he did like some kind of spell or played into that at all, because I love how Thanos was like, no tricks, right? Like, you're just going to give it to me. And then, Doctor Strange is like, this is the only way. So he might even be playing into the events that are going to occur back, in the background, without really just being sneaky about it. So I forgot to mention that.
Because for Doctor Strange, like, his whole point is to protect that stone.
That stone, exactly.
That place where he lives. And even before they were on the ship, he told Iron Man, "I'm not gonna hesitate. If it's up to the stone,
right?
Iron Man or Spider-Man, I'm gonna take the stone."
So even though it looked like he was, protecting Iron Man, it could be that he's really doing something to protect the Power Stone.
He knows what he knows.
Exactly. So that's something that I overlooked in my review, and then I thought back to that, and I'm like, I don't know, there's something that might be there. What about you, Jay? What's moving forward here?
What do I expect for this? I expect Iron Man to die.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting him. I'm like, he's been a thorn in me just because of his cockiness, his wannabe Bruce Wayne, and I'm just starting to trying to get all your emotions out so you can type away and just tear me apart on how you like Iron Man. No, but in seriousness, I feel what I'm expecting with the second Avengers or Infinity War is the retirement of Iron Man, because if you watch the story, He's him talking, very close with Pepper. He's talking about having a child, wanting to get, all married. And then you have the part where Peter Parker's, he's disappearing. And he's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to. And he's holding him and he's hugging him. So I sense with his character that he wants to move on.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to move on and start a family, which also caters to the theory that we've been discussing, that Spider-Man might take over his role as in the Avengers. So it's only fitting for him to exit this way.
Even in Civil War, he was one of the very first ones when they wanted to kind of calm the Avengers down, to prevent them from doing damage. He was one of the very first ones who agreed.
Yeah.
He's like, the Avengers, we need to be kind of controlled.
Absolutely.
So I expect that to happen. I also expect Rogers to somehow retire as well. I don't think they'll ever kill any of these characters off, like these main ones that we love, because they're so beloved, right? But I feel like that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a transition where a lot of the older generation, the first 10 years, or at least the ones that started, right, the patriarchs,
the main four.
We're going to step down and move away, and then maybe throughout the films, do cameos here and there, but that's as far as it goes, and then allow the new generation of superheroes to come in, or they can be a complete scapegoat, use the time, reverse everything, and just create the butterfly effect, and by changing the past, they bust out with a flashpoint and literally freshen everything up, and now we have a new timeline, new clean slate, and they can move forward with the next phases.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I hope that they do kill some of them off. Maybe even the main four. Just to really feel the weight of getting rid of Thanos. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a cost.
Yeah, because you said these are the main four that they started the MCU with. Cap, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk. And Thor really his planet's gone, or his world is gone. His brother's gone. His dad is gone. Everybody is gone. I mean, he could stick around, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that it's weighty, the situation that they have to do. I would like to see them die off, but like you said, if they just kind of retire, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that either.
I'm also thinking, because it's Disney and this is the darkest we've ever gotten from them.
Absolutely.
But I feel like because of the kids, they're not gonna bust out a Lion King and kill Mufasa. I mean, especially in today's society, I don't feel like they're gonna go that route. If it was earlier and they didn't there's no this PC and all this other stuff. I feel like maybe it would have been much darker.
Right.
But I don't see them killing. Maybe one of them.
I think for sure that would probably kill
maybe one, but
minimum. I think.
Maybe I do.
Right, because like you said, I do like seeing Spider-Man kind of taking Iron Man's role, and Black Panther kind of taking Cap's role.
Right.
And even though we might get another Captain America, or they might just do away with the actual Captain America, public figure, because I know we still have Bucky and not Hawkeye, Falcon moving forward, but I don't know if any of them will pick up the mantle of Cap, because I think Black Panther could come in easily and just fill that role as the leader, and
right. And who knows how long we have him, because the actor's 40 years old, man.
Right. So he looks great.
He does. He looks fantastic.
Chadwick is just he found the fountain of youth, man, because he looks amazing for his age, and he just plays the role so well.
Maybe another 10 years, but even then, he's going to be pushing in his 50s.
He could transition out too soon after that. I mean, that's what we think moving forward. I mean, I'm excited, especially with the whole Fox merger coming in. I do agree with some of the things that I read that they're going to bring Fantastic Four. I think they'll leave X-Men out for a while, because we've gotten a lot of that as of late, and Deadpool's still running strong. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But I do see Fantastic Four coming in the MCU and kind of making their presence. And maybe they'll kind of come in and be a vital big role of the Avengers as well.
Maybe we'll see Killmonger go flame on.
Have come back. So it was a great movie. It's been a great 10 years, and I think it's just about the right time to kind of revamp and refresh everything and move forward, so we don't end up in the whole superhero fatigue that people
how
talk
they
about.
do with X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely. X-Men is a great example of how they really transitioned from the old to the new. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. Go ahead and jump on in. Give us your thoughts, your theories, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching our episode.
Yeah, if you liked our video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up.
And if you didn't, you can double click on the thumbs down. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and like.
Right on. And check us out on our other social media outlets at Instagram and Twitter. And please tweet us at FF Media News.
Or you can engage with us through our email at ffmedianews@gmail.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.